Exodus chapter 18, verse 1. Yeah, it's not the Chin Mountains over there yet. I think maybe behind them, maybe on a clear day behind them, you might see other mountains which would be in the Chin state. But anyhow, that is Myanmar, that is. Exodus chapter 18, verse 1. Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard all that God had done for Moses and for Israel, his people. Our Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. So what made Jethro move here or come to war to Moses is because he heard everything God had done for Moses, right? And for his people. Now just imagine, okay, so he got married to Zipporah, a priest, his father was his father-in-law, a priest. Not in the Hebrew faith, right? Because the Hebrew faith per se was not, there were no laws, no nothing yet really, okay? And so here Moses goes, this man, this guy who came from there, who fled and then who got married and who looked after, tend the sheep. And then he went back and then he started this war against Egypt, kind of, seemed to. And so it might have felt for his father-in-law, this Moses guy here in his old age is not so stable and that he needs to take care of his, you know, in their culture, take care of his daughter and his grandchildren. And Moses then sent them back. And so, you know, right, maybe it's the best if they just stay here and they don't go back to Moses. Because this Moses guy, you know, he's kind of a little bit out there. Maybe, you know, but now he heard of all that God has done. He saw here Moses leading all these people out. And what Moses said, God did. And so, yes, no, it's not because this guy is mad, but actually this is God. This is from God. And so for that reason, you know, my daughter and my grandsons ought to be with their husband and their father. And so he brought them back. So it's more than just, there's this personal thing here happening here as well, due to the fact that God kept his word and now the father-in-law can trust him in bringing the family back. Verse 2. Now Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, had taken Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her home, along with her two sons. The name of one was Gershom, for he said, I have been a sojourner in a foreign land. And the name of the other Eliezer, for he said, the God of my father was my help and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. So this is what the father-in-law did. He took now Moses' wife Zipporah back to Moses. And we don't know when exactly Moses sent her. We know that she went with Moses. Remember, she was the one to circumcise her second son. Otherwise, Moses was going to be killed. So she sure went with Moses. Moses went to ask his father-in-law if they can take. And so, yes, they went down there. When? No, I think in the introduction part, I think I kind of said that most likely in this whole battle starting, Moses would have known that, you know, what is happening here. The Pharaoh, my wife and daughter, and my sons, that is, being here now, Pharaoh can just come, take them as hostages and say, Moses, you stop this or I'm going to kill them. And then Moses would have been, either I do what God wants or I like, no, it's lots of these kinds of things throughout history has happened. Like this, the story of I've decided to follow Jesus. I've decided to follow Jesus. Just here in the north, in the Nagaland, where it originated, and where this father was asked, you know, your family or your life, and or you deny Christ. And his word to that was no. After praying about it, after them giving him time to think about it, his word is no. I'm following Christ. I'm not going to turn back. I'm not going to deny my son, my father, that is Jesus, my God. Okay, so the same thing kind of here. It could have been, and we don't know how Moses would have acted. So the wisest thing is get his wife and his children away, so that there was nothing that Pharaoh could take. He couldn't take them hostages and then held them as hostages, so that Moses would then be like not be able to continue his work. Again, we don't know what Moses' reaction was, but this is a wise thing to do. You go into a country where your life is in danger, if God tells you to, maybe it's best to make sure that your wife and your children are in a place where they're safe. Okay, although some Christians don't think that is a wise thing or right thing to do. You're not just supposed to then go to places like that. But you know, some people need to go to places like that. We can't just always, yeah, whatever. Anyhow, so took him back, brought with her the two sons. The one, the name, we've seen the names already, Gershom and Eliezer. Gershom, the meaning was he's a sojourner in a foreign land. So sojourner in a foreign land when he was born. He was not in Egypt where he knew the land, where he was like second in command. He's now sojourner in a foreign land with his father-in-law. But as well at the same time, more importantly, a sojourner in a land of, because Canaan is their promised land. So Moses would have known that even Egypt is not. Even there he was a sojourner, but more so now he feels here. And yeah, I mean, I guess a sojourner. I don't care about the land anymore, really, right? Heaven is, yeah, sure, I care about this earth, but the whole earth is ultimately now our land as Christians. It's not about just this little piece of land. It's everything, because we have family everywhere, in every country on this planet. Every country, that is, every country, even in Antarctica. And the name of Eliezer, what in Eliezer's name is, the God of my father was my help and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. So, right, he's a reminder to Moses of the fact that God is the one when he killed, that is Moses, killed that guy and deserved actually of punishment. But Pharaoh was looking for a reason to get rid of Moses. So then God helped him to get out. And so he named the second son then ultimately Eliezer, because God delivered me, not now from the sword of Pharaoh that came after, during all these plagues, but before, after the killing of this man by Moses.